Now let's talk about bringing our legs together in the top of the handstand. So you've already learned how to set up. We've learned about needing to shift forward to achieve that balanced weight distribution over our hands. And now it's time to add the legs back into the equation. So when you see my full straddle press, you're going to notice that my legs come far out to the side in this really big, almost exaggerated middle split, right? Well, that is important for you to do as well because it also relates to keeping that balanced weight distribution over our hands, and we need that to be able to control our full press to handstand. So if you think about it, what's happening in my press to handstand when I pass through that full middle split is I'm shifting my shoulders forward. The weight of the lower half of my body is still backwards behind my hands, right? So my body weight is still kind of centered over my hands as I shift forward. And as I press my feet off the floor, I'm lifting them up. My legs come out to the side in that straddle position. By being in that big, full middle split, I'm able to keep the weight of my legs still over my hands, which means I can still easily balance as I press my legs together in that full handstand, right? It just makes sure that I can keep all of my body weight centered over my lever point, my points of contact with the floor, so that the skill is as easy as possible. Now let's pretend that I wasn't super flexible. I couldn't do my middle split like we talked about in the prerequisites. I just didn't have very much mobility, flexibility in that middle split position. Well, I wouldn't be able to get my legs into a full split, right? Which means I'm not going to be able to press at all, or at least very easily, because the weight of my legs is always going to stay behind my hands, right? I can't bring my legs around the side, which means they stay behind my hands, which means I have the whole weight of the lower half of my body sitting behind my lever point, which means gravity's always going to pull me backwards, because that's what gravity does, right? I don't have enough weight in my upper body, my shoulders, to shift forward to counterbalance the weight of my legs in the lower half of my body, which means I'm not really going to be able to get my feet off the floor. Right? It just makes it a lot harder than it needs to be. When you kind of meet those prerequisites, again, being able to do the middle split, or at least pretty close, you're going to be able to kind of move and position your legs over your lever point, over your hands, so that the weight of your legs stays over your hands and you're able to easily press into that full handstand position. Versus if you can't do the middle split, weight of your legs is always going to pull you backwards, because gravity does what it does best, pulls us back to the earth. And then it's just going to make this press really stressful and harder than it needs to be. So make sure you're passing through that full middle split, keeping your full body weight over your hands, balance as much as possible.